I'm just going to teach. And if you're paying attention, wonderful. If you're not, watch the recording before the power goes out. But it's not going to go out. We don't want it to go out. Now, here we go. There it is. So number one, I started putting the solutions and then I stopped on through this. But you should have this number line and this interval notation. Check it quickly, please. Bless you. If you were not here yesterday or you chose not to do this, I would copy this down because this is on your test. The brackets, the square brackets are for stop talking. Square brackets are for closed circles. Closed circles. If that value is included, boom, like 6 is, then the 6 has to have a bracket. Open circles and infinity have to have parentheses. And this is the way, as crazy as this is, more ink, and I'm looking right here, more ink, that's kind of more ink. Takes me more time to draw a square bracket than it does a parentheses. Less ink, boop, less ink, okay? That's all it is to it, and you just got to memorize it. I hate to say that because I don't like to memorize things. Number 2 is open circle in the middle, and we have the interval notation -4 to -2, and it's with parentheses, okay? Everybody good with that one? 3. I'm going to hush. I'm going to let you look at this for a moment. I'm going to pause because there's nothing I need to say here. I'll move it in just a moment. Bless you. Here's the rest of it, folks. 7 through 10. Okay, so I'm hoping that you realize on number 6, I'm going to get back to number 10, bless you, that number 6 is non-real solutions. Why? Because it can't be factored. If it can't be factored, that means it has to be an imaginary number solution, which we cannot put on a real number line, okay? A real number line, bless you. So that's why we have for number 6 non-real solutions. That's all you have to put there, folks, just non-real solutions. On number 10, you have to split this up the way I have it split up, okay? Because the only values included on this number line run from -infinity to -4. That's the first little piece on that graph. Then it jumps to that interval between, or that includes -2 all the way up to and including 8. So you have to take each piece into account. If you would have put -infinity to 8, that means every value between -infinity and 8 would make our inequality true, and that's not the case. If I were to choose -3, it's not going to work, okay? So that's why you have to split it up. Another question. Why do I have to have a U? Somebody answer that. Because they have to join together. And that is the mathematical symbol for joining two sets together. That's called the union. And we have to have that union. It's like us writing out and, but we're using the correct mathematical symbols. Okay? Yes. I'll do 7 and 8. Does everybody, have you copied these down, folks? Or yes? Number 9, 7, 8, 9. All right, let's look at 7, 8, and 9. Because remember, the test review is where? It's on the homework page already. If you have, y'all's cell phones are fancier than mine. I know y'all got access to the homework page if you'll just go there. You may not ever want to go there on your personal cell phone, but it's there and you have access to it. Even if you don't have access at home with the internet, you got it on your phone. Because we all need it. No, we don't. All right, so look at this. What do we have to do? What's the first thing you factor out? The GCF, which is X. So x times x minus 7. Y'all with me there? Okay? And then, oh, hold on. I'm supposed to be factoring the corresponding equation. My bad. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve, and our solutions end up being 0 and positive 7. Just because it says x equals 0, 0 can still be a solution. Okay? So, go to your number line. Because I set my factors equal. X is equal to 0, and this quantity x minus 7 is equal to 0. I have to set every factor equal to 0. So I got 0 and 7. Will this be open or closed circles, folks? Closed circles. How come? It has more ink, the line. And now we got to check our intervals. What are we going to check to the left of 0? -1. What are we going to check between 0 and 7? I would check 2. You can check 5. It's still going to work. I would check 2. And what over here to the left of 7? I would check 10. Here we go. Let's see what's going to happen. We have to test it. And folks, I need to see this test. I need to see it. So I'm going to plug into the original. So let's start with -1. -1 squared minus 7 times -1. We get +1 plus 7, which is 8. Is 8 less than or equal to 0? No. Keep going. Now we're going to test, what is it, 2? Let's test 2. 2 squared minus 7 times 2, which is 4 minus 14. Is -10 less than or equal to 0? Yes. When I put yes, what does that mean? I have to color in my graph in that particular interval. Let's test 10. What do you think is going to happen? It's not going to work. Let's just prove it, because that's what we're doing, is we're proving that it's not going to work. 10 squared minus 7 times 10 has to be less than or equal to 0. We've got 100 minus 70. 30 is not less than 0. So we have our number line. Now we have to write our interval notation, which is just a mathematical symbols to represent this picture. Brackets or parentheses. Square brackets, 0, comma, 7, brackets or parentheses. And this right here, folks, that's the meat and potatoes of what I want to see. I've got to see the tests, but I want to see that stuff right there. Okay? Questions? Did that help on 7? Did you find your mistake? Yeah? All right, let's look at 8. Number 8. 25. X squared plus 70x plus 49 greater than or equal to 0. Folks, at some point, you got to be able to recognize that. Oh, it's a trinomial. Oh, 25x squared is a perfect square. Oh, 49 is a perfect square. This might be a perfect square trinomial. Let's see. Let's come over here and solve the corresponding equation. Folks, what's perfect square? What's the square root of 25x squared? 5x, 5x. What's the square root of 49? 7 and 7. Signs are the same, both going to be pluses. Oh, look. Now, if you're not sure, check the middle terms. What's 5 times 7? 35x. What's 7 times 5x? 35x. Does my middle term match? Yeah, so I know I've got the right factors. But that's how you know if it's a perfect square trinomial. Now, what am I going to do with that? How many solutions will I have? 1, but if this is called a what? Double root. So we've got 5x plus 7 equals 0. When we solve it, we get -7/5. Do you guys agree with me? Yeah? So let's graph it. There's a possibility, a couple of different possibilities. This could either be shaded and go to one side or the other, or won't be shaded at all, or what's the other possibility? Could be the whole thing shaded. So let's test it and see. Is it going to be open or closed circle? Closed circle. All right, so -7/5. Let's look at that. I know it's a little over -1, but it's -1 point what? That's -1 point. -1.4. Okay. Now, what are we going to do? Choose another number. Well, what is just beyond -1.4? -2. And then what is going to be to the right of or greater than -1.4? 0. That's the easiest one to choose. We're going to plug it back into the original. So let's test -2. Holy moly, big numbers. 25 times -2 squared. Oh, there it is. Plus 70 times -2 plus 49. And it has to be greater than or equal to 0. Here we go. 25 for -140 plus 49 greater than 0. That's 100 and, yep, watch what I'm doing. -40 plus 49 is 9. Is 9 greater than or equal to 0? Yes. Does all this test stuff get on our nerves? Yes. Do we care? No. We're still going to do it, and we're going to like it. Yes. Oh, that means I have to shade over here. Now, one side's taken care of. Let's check the other side. Let's try 0. All right. 25 times 0 squared plus 70 times 0 plus 49 greater than or equal to 0. 0 plus 0 plus 49. 49 greater than 0? Yes. Look what's going to happen. The whole number line has been shaded, folks. What's that mean? It means a couple different things. It means all reals, and you can write it out, all reals. And spell it right. Write it neatly so I can read it. All reals, double R thing, or parentheses, -infinity to +infinity, parentheses. That's interval notation. You can't go wrong with interval notation because it's just setting you up for good things with math analysis of calculus. Okay? Questions on that? Did you find you cool with that? Yeah? Christian, you good with that one? All right. What's the next one? Was it 9? All right, let's look at number 9. Number 9, 4x squared minus 100 greater than or equal to 0. Folks, what's the first thing we factor out always? GCF. You've got to get into the habit of doing that. X squared minus 25. Now, of course, that's a corresponding equation. 4 equals 0. No. X squared minus 25. We got x minus 5, x plus 5. Do you guys agree? What are my solutions? -5, +5. I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to put them in order. Now, that means, underline, -5, +5, open or closed? Closed. Let's test. I'm going to test -6, 0, +6. -10, 0, +10. Doesn't matter. Y'all cool with these numbers? All right, this is the fun part. Four times 36. Folks, help me out, bless you. What's 4 times 36? 144? Somebody please make sure it's right. Okay. 44 greater than or equal to 0? Yep. So we're Shaded to the left, let's check the 0. Check it here. Got, what do we have? 4 times 0 squared minus 100. We got 0 minus 100, folks. Is that greater than or equal to 0? It's up here. Is it greater than or equal to 0? Negative 100 is not shaded, right? Check the 6. What's going to happen to the 6? Do I even really need to check it? I don't really need to check it because 6 squared is 36, so is negative 6 squared. Same thing. 144 minus 100. This is so much fun. Yes, I do. Now, interval notation. How am I going to write this using interval notation? Parentheses or bracket? Parentheses. Negative infinity to what? Somebody else. Go. Fill in the rest of that. Negative 5. Bracket. There we go. Union. Go. How about that? How many of you got it? Questions at all? I got you. No questions? Cool with the bracket and the parentheses? Are we cool with the factoring? We're going to be cool before May when we take a test. Okay? We're not going to be. It will be back Wednesday next week. Number 10. Number 10 is like Number 10 is just like the problem that I gave you, the last one in your notes yesterday. Okay? What's the difference in this problem? It's already factored, thank goodness. All right, this really is not a quadratic. This is a polynomial of degree 3. If we were to FOIL this thing out, our solutions are going to be negative 2, negative 4, and positive 8. Morgan, do you agree with that? Yeah? You did say yes, right? Okay. So let's put them on the number line. Guys, you got to put them in order on the number line. It's got to be closed circles because it's a less than or equal to. And now we got to choose how many intervals? 4. Okay, here we go. Let's go negative 5, negative 3, 0, 10. Y'all cool with those? Could we all choose different numbers? Yeah, we could all choose different numbers for those intervals. And we still should work it out. Stop talking while I'm teaching because you're being rude. Still, it's going to come out to be the same thing. Okay? We still should be able to shade in the correct stuff, portion. So negative 5. All right, let's think about this. Let's not crunch numbers. Let's think about signs. Negative 5 plus 2 is going to be positive or negative. Negative 5 plus 2 is going to be positive or negative. Negative. Negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1, isn't it? Negative 5 minus 8 is negative 13. A negative times a negative times a negative ends up being a negative. Is a negative number less than or equal to 0? Yes. Shade it in. This will save you a little bit of work. Okay? Let's try the 3. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. Negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. That's a negative times a negative is a positive. Is a positive number less than or equal to 0? No, we're not shading that portion in. Let's check 0. 0 plus 2 is 2, positive, times 0 plus 4 is a positive. 0 minus 8 is a negative. Hello? What's our solution sign going to be? Negative. Is a negative number less than 0? Yes. Shade it in. And let's check 10 real quickly. 10 plus 2 is 12. 10 plus 14 is positive. 10 minus 8 is positive. Is a positive number less than or equal to 0? No. Don't shade it. Oh, Lord. How am I going to put this in interval notation? Remember, you go from the left to the right. What's the farthest left number I will list? Parentheses, negative infinity. -4 bracket. Union. Bracket, -2, 8, bracket. How about that? Cool with that? Questions? Any questions at all? All right, let's change gears. Go to the first review sheet that I gave you earlier in the week, and let's go over 13 through 18. This is the worksheet on rational expressions and factoring. Okay? Number 13, your factors are 6 times the quantity, 5x plus 2 times the quantity, x plus 1. 14. 9 times the quantity, 4 minus 3x times the quantity, 4 plus 3x. 15. 5b minus 7 times the quantity, 5b plus 7. I'm writing these up here because there's somebody's going to watch this video. I'm going to go and look. I will at least have 4 views.
What time are you going to look at it?
Not telling. I expect all of you to go home, go straight home, no detours, and you go watch this recording. Start your snow weekend off right. Shut your face. Here we go, 16. 16. Ten times the quantity, 10v plus 9 quantity squared. Of course, I just cleaned that up. 17 is a difference of cubes, folks, but we have to factor out a GCF first. So it's x times 7x minus 5 times 49x squared plus 35x plus 5 squared is 25. And the same thing with 18. X times the quantity, 3x minus 5 times 9x squared plus 15x plus 25. Okay? Remember, if you're not factoring out that GCF first, we got problems. Yes, sir. 16, I will. 14, 16. 11. 14, 16, 17. All right, let's go over 14. Remember, this is all there. Number 14, stop talking. Here we go, 144 minus 81 squared. Who wanted to see this one? Did you factor out GCF first? Neither did I. Until this morning, and old Smarty McFarty back there said, or somebody, Zach, somebody came in early this morning and went, wait, there's a GCF. And I went, dang it, you're right. All right, what is the GCF? 9. See, I look at that and I go, 12 minus 9, 12 plus, I think this difference is squares. But factor out a 9. Look what's going to end up happening. 9 times, what is it, y'all? 16? 16, 16 minus 9x squared. And then you got to look at that and go, well, I still have a difference of squares. Bring down your 9. 4 minus 3x, 4 plus 3x. Yes, right, because look what's going to happen. You have not factored completely. We did this, Beth, because I did the very same thing. You got a 3 here? Watch. Did anybody do this? I'm going to raise my hand on this because this is what I did. I left it as my answer. There we go. Out of class, high five. There we go. We were wrong. We were wrong. But I did it, and I'm claiming it because I did it. And it was on my paper until y'all came and said, you're wrong. Look at it. Look at this. What's your GCF? 3. Factor out a GCF here. Watch what's going to happen. 4 minus 3x. Oh, well, I'll be daggone. What's the GCF there? 3. Same thing. Thank you. Can I move things around when we multiply? What property says we can? Commutative property of multiplication. Folks, what's 3 times 3? Oh, sucky, sucky. Look at there. Look at there. Looky there. How about them apples? If you don't factor completely, it's like leaving an answer as 2/4. That's like blasphemy in math. Oh, don't you do that. That is so wrong. Don't do that. Okay? Would I count it completely wrong? No. I would give you partial credit, but I would count points off. Okay? A bunch in your case. All right. What were the other ones? 16, 17? Is that right? All right, so let's look at 16. Okay. How many of you look at these big numbers and you go, are you kidding me? Yeah, me too. So I look at this and I'm thinking, no, I don't want it's going to make my brain hurt. There's got to be a GCF, and how would I know that? Well, every number ends in 0. So at least the GCF is what? It's at least 10. So let's see. If it's not 10, I'll go back and factor out another GCF. 10 times what is 1,000V squared? 100V squared. Ooh, perfect square. Your ears ought to perk up like at attention when you see that. Plus 180V plus 81. Again, your ears ought to go and see it. What am I seeing? Perfect square trinomial. Look at the first term. It's a perfect square. Look at the last term. It's a perfect square. And if you start coming back forward in that trinomial, the signs are going to be the same. That's another clue. So let's see. Square root of 100V squared is 10V. Perfect. Square root of 81 is 9. My signs are the same. They're both going to be pluses. And then I just clean it up. Y'all still talking? I swear to you, I'm going to come back there and I'm going to accidentally fall into your ear with my elbow. You may think it's padded because the rest of me is. It is not. It is very sharp. Very sharp. I'm not scared of all them pins. All right. How about at 16? Are we cool? Don't ever estimate a big girl. If we catch you, we will whoop your tail. Okay? When we catch you. It's on. 17, let's look at this. 17, 343. How much time do I have? Dang it. 10 minutes to review for that test you're going to take in May. Look at that. Best thing, what's the first thing you got to factor out always? GCF. Here we go. That would be awesome. I couldn't take it, though. It would have to be an anonymous donation. Because it would make me feel bad if I knew y'all collected money for your poor little teacher.
Well, we know what you're thinking.
It sucks. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful that I have a job, and I'm thankful that I enjoy my job. So, thank you. Here we go. Hey, 343, 125. I know 125 is a cube, perfect cube. I know that x cubed is. I'm not really sure about 343. Blow up your calculator, okay? It is. It is the perfect cube of what? What's a square? Nope. What's a cube root of 343? 7x. Taking the cube root of 343, x to the cube root. Something. Third power. What's the cube root of 125? 5. And then we go through our process. This term squared is what? 49x squared. This term squared is what? 25, right, Q? And then 7x times 5 is? And then it is a subtraction. And then I have to think about my little word. Because that I don't have to think when I do that. I do think it is. I don't think. I know. Because I don't have to think about it. I can't hold too much more up in here. Okay? There we go. That's all it is to it. You got to know how to do that. Guys, let me tell you why I continue to say this term squared is what? This term squared is what? What if I were to give you something like this? 27. Because if I ever were to throw a variable in that second term, you got to remember this might be a good one for everybody to write down. What's the cube root of x cubed? Thank you, 2x. You know what I'm trying to say. What's the cube root of 27y cubed? All right, now, this is what I don't want you to make a careless mistake on. This is why I say this. This term squared is 4x squared. Bless you. 3y squared. This term squared is what? 9y squared. That's why I say that every time, or try to. 2x times 3y is 6xy. Ooh, don't freak out. It's all right. It's okay. And then I did another subtraction so I could remember. I was testing you, and you guys did great at a class. Okay. Bless your hearts. I'm so sorry. I really do. I need medicine. I can't help it, Kaylee. I cannot help it. Questions at all? Yes, Luke. Number 10, I will. Number 10. Hey, you're still talking. You got that right. Oh. When the neck... All right, sassy pants. Here we go. First thing, look at this. Is there a GCF that will come out of 56, 98, 48, 84? At least I know a 2 can, right? But if you keep thinking, it's 2. It is 2. It is a 2. All right, so 2 times what's 56? 28 plus 49 plus 24 plus 42. Does that look right? To multiply everything correctly? I'm getting ready to. How did you know that you had to group? All right, I would group it after you take out the GCF, because that GCF's got to come out, okay? Now I'm going to group this whole thing because it's 4 terms. Bring down your 2. And folks, I know when it's 4 terms, there's going to be a whole bunch of parentheses, so I'm going brackets. What's my GCF of 28 and 49? 7. 7 times 4, 7x. 7x is my GCF. Be careful. 4y plus 7, yes? Plus, what's my GCF of 24 and 42? 6. times 4y plus 7. And remember, we always want these to match because that's like a new GCF. Keep bringing down the 2. Take out your 4y plus 7. What's left over? 7x plus 6. Did that help you? Whoever needed that one? Yes. What about the 6? Okay, you found it. All right. Other questions? I expect you to check your answers on that review sheet. Folks, if you can do the review, you can do the test. I promise. Okay? Whatever day we come back, you're taking the test. And I don't know that I've said it in this class, but if we were to come back on Wednesday, okay? Y'all just listen and you can pack up. If we come back on Wednesday next week, or Tuesday, whenever, okay, if we come back on Wednesday, you know you will not get that test back until the following Monday. Don't ask. There's no way, shy of me staying up for 2 nights in a row, I can't grade 70 papers, checking work, and making notes, and hand them back to you the next day. It's just not going to happen. I value, if I don't sleep, then I'm going to get sick. If I get sick, I can't work. If I can't work, I don't make money. Give your teacher money. Give your teacher money. All right, everybody clear with that? Folks, you guys who strive, because